We're back, and I'm excited for this one, not only because it's the first actual recording of the year, but also because we've got a really good platform that I think can help a lot of people. And that platform is called Vibe Tribe. Now, Vibe Tribe is an integrated health platform which empowers you with the knowledge of how to live longer, disease-free, and regulate health conditions. This is founded by two sisters who experience firsthand that when one person falls sick, the entire family falls sick, with its detrimental impacts on mental and physical health on both the patient and their caregivers, lasting decades, if not their entire lifetime. Now, these two sisters set out on a mission to equip people with accessible, actionable, and simplified knowledge on taking care of their health, to prevent illnesses or empower them to regulate health conditions that they may be experiencing, with a community that supports them so they don't have to be alone on their journey. It's very important. So in 2024, sisters Rasha and Rameza Rahman took inspiration from this research to build the 3 pillars of Vibe Tribe. You know, I like pillars. Those pillars are body, brain, and bonds. Every program created identifies experts in these 3 categories who have then shared decades of their work through videos designed to enable learning in just 20 minutes a day, along with interactive workbooks and real-time community chat rooms.
Welcome to Simply Walk the Talk. Our bodies and minds adapt to what we do most of the time. If you want to change your body and mind, you must change what it is you do most of the time. This podcast explores all things health, wellness, fitness, lifestyle, and biohacking. Stay tuned as we explore various thoughts, methods, and experiences from a multitude of conversations between our interesting guests and experts through many fields of work. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Simply walk the talk. Simply walk the talk.
Now, Rasha and Rameza, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having us.
Thank you so much for having us.
Right. So we've had some chats in the past, and we had some, I think we were going to record several times, and we had some changes, one of which we might get into, Rameza. And so she's the one laughing. If you are only listening, you can hear her laughing right now. And then Rasha was one of the first ones to speak up previously. So in the beginning, what I might do is just make sure to announce who you are when you're speaking, so the people who are not watching the video, shame on you, they will know the difference of the two that are speaking. But what I would like to do is, let's start with your backgrounds a little bit. And I want people to kind of understand the type of people that you are, because when I first connected with you, I got a true sense of just how beautiful your souls are. Both of you are really out there trying to help the world become a better place and to create community. And I really stand by that. So I'd love to kind of understand a little bit more of where that comes from both of you.
Great. Ramza, do you want to go first?
You can start first.
Okay. So we were both born in Saudi. So our backgrounds come from, we're really diverse backgrounds. So we're South Asians, but we were born and brought up in Saudi. My background for the last decade and a half has been in working for Procter & Gamble. I've led multiple organizations, primarily in supply chain across the globe. However, since a very, very young age, I've always been a lot into health and wellness. So I've done around 300 hours of yoga training. Yoga is my first and, the thing that I love the most in this world that keeps me sane. And then I went on the rabbit hole of learning a lot of alternate therapies. One of them is called Psyche-K, which is like hypnotherapy, but basically it's done in a more conscious state where you rewire your belief systems. And the reason perhaps that I went down this rabbit hole was at a very, very young age, both of us. So I was 13 when our father was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis. And in the next 17 years of his life, we went through as a family, taking him through 3 spinal cord surgeries, 2 knee replacements, a heart attack, and he was on life-saving medication, lots of steroids, which degenerated his lungs. And I remember in the last 7 years of his life, he slept on a chair because he was too scared. His lungs were, he was scared. Like, if I sleep, I would choke. And watching him grow up like that and watching the impact on our mother, I think that's something which got us together to that we want to build something that we wish we had, we wish our father had. So I think that's the little bit of background. And Ramza, go ahead.
Thank you for sharing that, by the way. And there's a lot I want to unpack with that for sure. And then also one thing that I'm noticing is that you might be saying your sister's name differently than I'm saying it. So can you please give me the correct way to say your name? Is it Ramza?
It's Rameza. Yeah.
Rameza. Okay, but
Yeah.
it sounds like Rasha shortens it a little bit. No, Ramza.
Ramza, yeah,
Or-
I do.
Rameza, yeah.
I call
Ramza.
her Babel. So
Okay, well, whatever you're comfortable with, but I just want to make sure I get it right. So,
Yeah.
Rameza.
So it's Rameza. So in the past couple of about 10 years, I've been in the corporate sector myself, just like Rasha. I've worked with a lot of startups. I've worked within strategy, manpower planning, human resources, and creating structures from scratch, especially for startups where that's one thing that requires the most, right? But apart from that, just like Rasha mentioned, I've always had a separate interest in mental health and mental well-being. I did my certification in integrative humanistic counseling from CPPD School, London, which gave me a certification on basically the basic therapy skills that you require while connecting with clients. Apart from that, I went into alternate healing methods as well. One of them being energy healing through theta brain frequencies. Theta is a brain frequency in which you're asleep, which is where you are able to access your subconscious mind. And that is how you're able to reprogram your mind in a more conscious state. So this is what I do in a short, sweet way. But like Rasha said, when I was 7, my dad was diagnosed. Our dad was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, and for me, growing up, life has been genuinely hospitals and home and surgeries and medication. And I remember there was always a corner, a huge shelf that we had, which was full of medication, all kinds of tablets my father was on. So that's where Vibe Tribe was inspired from, because in fact, if I were to add, I actually believe growing up, because I was 7 when he was diagnosed, that fathers are always supposed to fall ill, mothers don't fall ill, because that's what I've seen growing up. But yeah, so I think that's where our journey started, and that's how Vibe Tribe came to life.
It is interesting that you bring up that notion of you felt that like that's what fathers are, what all fathers are, because that was your direct experience, right?
Yeah.
And sort of similar to my story, like my father, for most of his adult life, was morbidly obese. He passed away nearly 2 years ago, and it was a similar situation. Of course, he wasn't in the hospital except for like maybe the last 2 or 3 years of his life. But like you, I grew up with thinking that, well, on my dad's side of the family, everyone is big, everyone is morbidly obese, and it was kind of swept under the rug, kind of like, yeah, we're just big boned, we have big bones, and we have, we're just stout people on my dad's side of the family. In reality, we are just sick, right? Like the family is unhealthy, very sick, morbidly obese, and it's nothing to sweep under the rug, especially with me being a health coach and a fitness trainer. It's like I felt almost disempowered, unempowered by the fact that I could not help my own family, which is what kind of brings me to where I am today, is really trying to find the tools and the methods and the community of people that can really help from like a wholesome perspective, not just for money, not just for clout, but to truly help people. And that's why I wanted to have you guys on the show, because I knew that there was something underlying that really pushes you to do what you're doing. And, and some of the things you mentioned already about your background, I didn't know about, even though we have had some conversations already. Right. So thank you for sharing that. Wow. Where do we start? So, Rasha, really quick, you mentioned something that I have not been familiar with. It was a certain type of modality you mentioned. What was it called?
Psyche.
Like how do you spell it?
PSYC-K. CHK
Psyche-K.
-K, yeah. Psyche.
Psyche-K. PYSCH.
I'm so bad at spelling, so I'm checking.
No, that's okay. It's okay. Because I want to look this up, because this is really, really interesting.
It is.
Psyche-K Center International.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the one.
It's like with the
So I'm just kind of
falcon.
like looking online. Go ahead.
It's with the falcon. So honestly, Psyche is one of the modalities that changed my life. What it does is firstly, what we do, that it's a very commonly or a cliche thing to say, where everything is your beliefs, right? If you want to change anything, you need to change your beliefs about it, because your actions, your thoughts, so your thoughts are directed by your beliefs. And I think Psyche is a modality which basically what it does is you use your muscle. It uses muscle testing. Muscle testing is a mechanism used in a lot of modalities of alternate healing. What we don't realize is that our muscles, when our mind believes in something, our muscles react differently. Whilst if it's something that our mind doesn't believe, our muscles react differently. So as a facilitator of Psyche, what you first learn is to enable people to test to know or to educate them how they can actually test whether they believe in something or not. And then based on whatever the situation be, and it can be for anything from to understanding what is holding you back from achieving a goal, changing a habit, moving from addictions to allergies and a lot of stuff. You really go down to as a facilitator, you help someone identify what is the core limiting belief that is stopping them from achieving what they want to. And then there are things called balances. Balances are different breathing or techniques or postures, which over the time they've identified help you connect with 100% of your brain along with your subconscious mind. So you it's like the computer, you install the new belief and you retest your muscles and you see that that belief has been installed in you. And then you take an action. So you assume that if I now have this belief, what action I would take, and you realize that the resistance you had to whatever it was that you wanted to do, it goes away. And over a period of time, it has had a very big compounding effect in my life. I think I've changed. I overcame a lot of allergies, a lot of things because it really helps you identify and go back in time to say your mind has the answer to most of the things. You just need to tap into it to realize what it is and then rewire it so that you can move forward in your life. I think that's what Psyche did for me. And in a period of, I think, a year, I saw my entire life energy, because when your energy shifts, your life shifts. So I found that as I unpacked all my limiting beliefs, suddenly my energy changed. And when you show up in the world differently, your life changes. Suddenly all the opportunities come. Suddenly everything starts to turn.
That's powerful. Thank you for sharing that, because as I was opening it up and listening to you talk about it, but also I was reading and I put it up on the screen. It's something that I feel like is a big part of what I do for my health coaching clients without realizing that it has like a name for it. And it's trying to be a guide or a mirror to what people, because there's certain people out there like us who are very observant, and we've got the tools in our background to kind of to show people what they're doing. And I've talked about this before on the podcast, but there's this notion of what is called the the conscious competence feedback loop. And that situation is where if a person, let's say they're doing a squat, right? And they unconsciously are incompetent, because if I identify that they're doing the squat incorrectly, then that's the part of the loop that is called unconscious incompetence, because they don't know that they're doing it incorrectly. And then when I show them what they're doing, whether it's by video, photo, or I mimic what they're doing, then they become consciously incompetent. They realize, oh, I'm doing it incorrectly. Now we can make some changes. Then we can get them to be consciously competent, because now they're doing it correctly, but they still have to think about it, to the point where they eventually become unconsciously competent. And that's what we want to try to get people to. And it seems like Psyche-K is a tool that acts as like a mirror to show them that. And I love that. So thank you for sharing. Is that something that is sort of embedded into Vibe Tribe and what you guys are doing?
I think what we have done is try to create programs that people can do themselves, and that's the motto for Vibe Tribe. So if I look at, for example, NLP and self-hypnosis, these are two powerful programs that we have, but people can learn themselves and learn how to rewire their beliefs in that way themselves. So they don't need kind of facilitator for it, because Psyche or hypnosis separately would require someone to facilitate you. But we in Vibe Tribe, the biggest motto we have is to empower people with the knowledge that they can use every day themselves. So if you go to the brain section of the program,
the brain section.
so here you have neuro-linguistic programming and self-hypnosis. Both of these programs, they kind of help you understand what stops you from achieving what you want to, or the habit that you want to change, whatever it is that you want to do, what is inside your mind stopping you from doing it, and it helps you overcome it. So yeah. Anything, Ramza, you want to add?
No, I think you've added quite the detailed into it. But one thing I do want to add, that the way these programs are specifically designed in mind is that we keep actionable steps at the end of every lesson. There's a journal available with each of them, and I could just quickly share and show. The important thing is that we, like Rasha said, right, that it's action oriented, right? So we've made sure that it's action oriented in the same way. Each of our program, it has at the end of each lesson has an action included in it.
And just to
Got
tell you why, because I think even when I did Psyche, I realized, and Ramza does Theta, it's not enough to change your beliefs. It's not enough to sit and visualize. It's not enough to, everyone talks about manifestation. You cannot manifest something sitting on a mat. You have to action. And unfortunately, there is no shortcuts in life. You have to action, take step by step, and slowly and steadily you will get there. So you can't lose 100 pounds in a day, 100 kgs in a day, or 50 kgs if that's your goal. But you can over a period of a year, right? So by taking small actions, and that's something that's built into our programs.
Sorry, I just realized the
Awesome.
wrong screen was being shared, but this is just an overview of the NLP program. And, it's particularly created in that way in which you can help rewire your own limiting belief and speak that language at the same time to achieve whatever goal it is that you're looking to.
That's really awesome. And Ramza, thank you for breaking down this actionable items piece, because I do think that's very, very important. And so I may have kind of taken us off track a little bit, but I think the overall goal of this conversation is to let people know that there are resources out there like this, right? And this is a platform in which if someone, maybe you just don't know why you're stuck in a certain pattern, maybe you can jump on this platform to work with experts, but also a community of people who are looking for similar ways to kind of break out of this funk that they might be in right now, right? And so I think the reason why we have you here is so that you guys can maybe provide some examples of ways that it's worked for you, maybe ways that it's worked for your family, your clients, and other people on the platform. And I want to offer the opportunity for you guys to grow within my network, right? Because part of the reason why, full disclosure, we talked about me possibly working with you guys and having some of my content on your platform, which I think would be fun. And why not, right? Because a lot of people might think that I'm just a fitness trainer, but I do a lot more than just showing people how to do a squat or a push-up, right? So, um, so I'm actually really excited to work with you guys to see what we can bring about because, currently right now you guys are in Dubai, right?
Correct. Right. Yeah.
But your platform is global.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so let's talk about that. Let's talk about maybe like how you got it off the ground and then how it's going and where you see it going in the future.
So I think any business owner would know, including yourself, that getting something off the ground is hard work, least fit to save, right? I think over the last year, so I think we launched the platform 1 year from the time of inception and gathering the first, like, whom are we going to contact, etc. So, and it's been a journey because we both obviously started off with, it's a self-funded kind of startup. So we poured in a lot of hard work, but with very limited resources. And I think for us, we just are launching. So, it's that time where we have to do the second set of heavy lifting. I think the first one was, how do we bring this? How do we build the product, right? And for that, I would give Rameza, but I would tell you that girl, she has contacted, when you have a platform like this there and you have something to show, there's so many people who are ready to on and jump on a vision with you. But when you have nothing but a story to tell, it's really hard. And I think Ramza reached out to at least 1,000 people, messaged, email, LinkedIn. And from there, we gathered 15 people that believed in our vision. And we will always, I always tell these experts, we will always remember you and believe, that you believed in us when we had nothing. And then we kind of onboarded them. And everyone in the world has a lot of knowledge. But I think, getting them to put it together in a structured manner for the audience to be able to consume it. And then the videos, I think Ramza has slept with her laptop 1 year, hugging the laptop, I swear. So Ramza, maybe over to you about what has been your hardest part to get this going.
I think it's a journey. Honestly, anyone who's created a business understands it's a journey. You create something on paper, and then you're like, "This is the perfect execution plan." And when you go to execute it, you're like, "Okay, your whole plan is like being built from scratch every time." But I think one of the most challenging parts for me would have been, I would say, was getting the videos edited, which surprisingly we thought would be the easiest part. Getting the coaches may be the most difficult one. But every video,
Yes, maker now knows, my God, editing is like,
editing it's a whole different story. And for somebody who doesn't even create personal blogs at that time or videos for ourselves, we never realized video editing would be so hard with the color correction, the template,
Audio.
shoot audio. Whilst the shoot was happening, there was some problem with the audio or the light or the color. And how do you fix it? And so I think we've been really blessed with great video editors that we've gone back and forth with, who really worked with us and stayed with us for those 300 videos that we took out in 4 months. Yeah, so it was constantly, and it wasn't just me, it was also one of our team members that has worked on this. And both of us would just sit and watch those videos over and over again to get to the level that we can put it out there. But honestly, in this journey, there are two things that I've learned the most which is, I think is going to keep me going, is perfection is not what is always needed. You need to just, okay, good enough. We put it out there, right? And the second thing is, of course, resilience. From having, I think we were contacting coaches for about 2 or 3 months, and we had one expert that had signed up with us at that point, to having a breakdown on what we're going to do, to a point where you're like, okay, you just keep pushing. And like Rasha said initially, where you focus is where the energy flows. So we broke every phase into different parts and just like focusing on one, and just taking it by the day. So that's how it is. Yeah.
That's really fascinating to hear, because the way I look at it, so what's interesting about all of this is when I was in college and university, I started off with a double major of physical therapy and psychology. But on top of that, so I was taking 27 credit hours in that first semester, and I was also playing basketball at the school, and I was the team tutor, and I had 2 part-time jobs, right? So you can imagine that it was way too much of a workload for any normal human being to try to complete. So I quickly realized that, like, I'm gonna fail at some point somewhere, right? Like if I excel in school, I might not do well on the basketball team. If I whatever, so it's like there's this, it's a give and take. So what I decided to do was to switch my major to something a little bit more accessible, which was communications. And with that, I was able to learn how to edit, how to shoot, how to film, how to become a producer, because and part of that program, also how to speak. And then that led me to, because that was a junior college, that then led me to the university, in which I took a mass communications course with a physical education minor, right? And it's interesting that I learned all of those skills of how to film, how to edit, how to produce, and then apply that to today's world, which is all about content, right? So I am so grateful that I went through those experiences, but I also realized that the true storytellers out there in today's world are the editors, because you can film the most amazing content, but if it's not edited in the way with, good color correction and good audio and, the timing and the spacing of the different edits, you could take 10 different editors with the same one piece of footage and have 10 different stories told out of it. Right. And so I respect the hustle that you guys, have created, because I know this came out of it was self-funded, and a lot of the things that I do is self-funded as well. So I do respect that. And I do appreciate the loyalty you have to the people who started when you didn't really have anything, right? Because now you do have something that you can market, which is why we're here. And I look forward to seeing what you guys can do in the future. I think this is going to be great.
Look excited
Yeah.
about it as well.
Yeah. So what are some of the other challenges? So you got to the point where you got, what did you say, 300 pieces of video? You got all that taken care of. It's now packaged in a beautiful product. Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah.
What's next?
I think it's about getting it. So how now you have this great product, but how do you sell it, right? How do you tell people they need it? And what we are giving is not the pill the doctor prescribes, right? So if you're diagnosed today, the doctor tells you you're pre-diabetic or you're on borderline cholesterol or you have gut issues. Here's a pill and it will get better. The truth is, even the doctor knows that's not, he's just treating the symptom, not the root cause. And what we're here to tell you is here you have to spend time. We've tried to package it as simply as possible. You need to spend 20 minutes a day, but you need to step by step change your lifestyle in order to be not dependent on the medications and to ensure that you live till the time you live a life that's fulfilled and, with full of energy and liveliness. So I think the difficult part now is, how do you reach the audience? How do you get them to actually adopt the lifestyle changes? And all of that with obviously, very limited budgets, because and in today's world, there are 100 million ads, people's attention span is so low, people don't want to and health is something which everyone wants to improve, but not do the hard work. So I think it's a bit of the challenge now is how do you, number one, articulate in terms of, what you are selling that actually resonates with the audience? How do you reach those audience? How do you bring to life the genuineness and the passion with which, we're building this community and get it off the ground? I think that's the hard part.
Yeah.
Well, I would like to know, and this is mostly because I am certain that anybody watching or listening right now, what do we get when you sign up, right? Like let's say that someone watched this episode and they're intrigued and they want to sign up for the free trial, because I see that you guys are doing a free trial for I guess the first 30 days, right? What is expected, from the person who decides to click that button and say, okay, I'm going to give Vibe Tribe a shot? What do
What
they
did I
get?
get?
What should they expect?
So if Ramza, you can just share your screen, maybe that would just make it easier for people to even visualize. So once you're signed in, what you get. So I just want to recap on Vibe Tribe. What do we do? Letting go of all the fancy words. Assume you want to know how to be healthier in your life, whether it be your goal be to lose weight, whether it be to sleep better, whether it be to eat better, whether it be to have much more beautiful hair, have skin which is beautiful, or any kind of chronic condition that you have, health condition that you want to kind of overcome, which is, stroke, heart health, cholesterol, hypertension, as well as a lot of things that we touch on mental health. So if you go to the brain section, it's about burnout, which is so embedded into our lives. In today's life, burnout is like everyone's hustling, everyone has 100 things going on. How do you manage your stress and anxiety? So what we have done is once somebody subscribes, so it's a subscription. You can say it's a Spotify for your health, right? So you get the subscription at a very minimal of, $25 a month. And you get access to all the programs. As an example of, and our programs, as we talked in the beginning of the call, they are in three pillars: Body constitutes of programs on nutrition, on longevity, on biohacking, and on movement such as strength training, Pilates, and so on and so forth. And the second section in body is bod- body health conditions like diabetes and cholesterol, etc. And then brain is about anything. How can you rewire your brain? How can you be empowered? So instead of focusing a lot on just breath work and meditation, which people have access to, we're providing knowledge on how can you be empowered to take control of your mind so that you don't go into states of burnout, etc. And if you are in burnout, how can you recover? And the third section we have is on bonds. As we spoke about that in blue zones, we realize that the reason people live longer disease free is one of the biggest things is build communities. And in today's world where social connections are so much harder while you're always online, the programs we have created are programs that will help you understand how can you connect with people, how can you converse with confidence and actually get through to people to build your community, to build your belongingness with people genuinely. And when people get the access to the platform, they get access to all the programs. So if we click on any one program, let's take example of Ramza, perhaps biohacking or burnout, that's fine. So for example, here, a program is something that is done by an expert. So example, Dr. Eli he's one of the leading experts in the biohacking field. He is very well known around GCC now. He is someone in his 50s, I think, and he he still is going on, he's going to climb a mountain. So he's done 50 marathon in his life. He's hiked 7 peaks. And he is someone that in his 50s, late 50s, is still taking a pack of people who are 80-year-old this August to Kilimanjaro mountain. And I'm just so inspired just hearing, like, I was like, wow, that you're actually inspiring to do that at this and taking those people there. And in his program, well, when you enter his program as an example, it's a set of, if you go to the lessons, a set of, let's say, between 15 to 30 videos. Each video is designed not to be more than 10 to 15 minutes so that you can hear it in the car, you can hear it while you're eating, you can hear it while you're cooking. And then you get and then as you go through the program, 20 minutes a day. So why we say 20 minutes, 10, 15 minutes of hearing the video. And then if you go to materials, we've created journals that every day after you hear it, you actually are able to reflect on it and create an action for yourself. Every program is designed for you because you first, the expert helps you identify what is your baseline. So whether you're asked to do a blood test, whether you're asked to do a qualitative check if it's on stress and burnout, even for hair, there are biomarkers you check, even for your skin. You define your baseline and your goal, and that's what the program facilitates. And after that, you are able to, within, spending 15, 20 minutes a day over a period of between 30 to 90 days, create a lifestyle change for yourself that will help you achieve your goal derived from the program. So that's what they get and once you take the subscription, you have access to all the programs. So you can pick and choose if you want to do a whole program, you want to go to specific, let's say, topics within a program. But that's what they get. And with that, they get a community chat room. So you can actually interact with other people who are actually on the platform and have like lots of communication going. Because one of the things from my journey, when I will be honest, my siblings and my friends, nobody, like, Josh, I just, resonated so much when you said when you wanted to make your family healthy and nobody wanted to be on the path. And I felt like I needed to go and find people on the same journey because, you want to talk about, hey, I did Psyche, hey, I'm doing yoga, I'm lucky to have Rameza, but it's hard, So what we did is created a community chat room so that, guys just connect with each other, make each other your accountability partner, and take it from there.
Well explained. Well explained. Yeah, it's interesting. I want to note, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems as if not only, because let's face it, a lot of people, when they hear or see $25 a month, for some people that's a very high barrier of entry for the majority of people. However, I did notice that you have one, you have the 30 days free trial, which is great, but then you also have the option to pay for the year, which I think knocks the price down a bit.
Yes.
Right? So that's important to note. A lot of times when I personally sign up for different programs that I feel like is going to really do something to move the needle in the right direction, I usually opt for that longer purchase so I can really give it an opportunity to try it out, because 30 days might be just enough for some people to go, yep, I'm signing up. But for a lot of people, we need a little bit more than 30 days because let's face it, most people who are on this journey to try to find out how they can improve their health probably aren't the type of people that are going to be consistent for 30 days, right? These are the same people that have their issue is being consistent, right? And so how can we build that out? And so I think it's important to note that. Also, if it helps in trying to diversify everything that's going on, I think, it'll be cool to see what we can do together, because I think I've never heard of Dr. Eli, but it was amazing to see what he has on there. So even for myself, I'm curious, like, what is he doing? Because if he's in his 50s and he looks like that and he's doing all that, I want to sign up, And so my hope is that other people see that about me as well, right? So I'm going to be in less than a month, actually one day from a month, I'll be 44 years old. And a lot
You
of
don't
times
look
people are
44
always
at all.
right. Well, and this is why I bring this up, because a lot of people think that, oh, I must have good genetics, or, like I have to do all these things to look and feel the way that I do. But it's been a lifelong journey. It's going to always be that, just of trying to find ways to improve my health, not just lifespan, but health span,
Correct.
because there is a
Yeah.
difference, right? There's longevity, but there's also thriving. Like, I want to thrive as long as I can. And so what are some novel ideas, like the fact that I didn't know anything about, one of the leading biohackers, which, look, I have a shirt that says biohacker, right? I identify with this community. However, I am one person that I don't like to think about, oh, this one person or this one method is correct. I like to go, what methods and what people are in my network, in my community. And that's why I liked the part that you pulled up about the chat room, because that seems to be the community part, right? I mean, or more of the community part, because we're trying to not only allow people to feel into the autonomy of getting healthy on their own, but then also sharing stories, right? Because maybe someone got hurt trying to do an exercise. Well, there's shame in that, right? There's shame in it, trying to actually admit to your peers, your family, your loved ones, that, like, you know what, I screwed up. I ate the cake when I wasn't supposed to, or I had a whole month in which I just completely fell off my diet, or, I didn't work out one day last week. Well, if you can have a group of people that can relate to that, then and to also tell you that it's okay, then I feel like that's where the real change is. It's okay. I'm the same. Like, I just went through.
That's the biggest factor, yeah. To
Yeah,
realize that you're not the only one, or that, there are more people out there that are going through the consistency problem, the discipline, similar issues. And also with those people, as you do the program and as you are, increasing in reaching your goal, it's also a place where you share it with them.
that's right.
And Josh,
You get
actually, I would tell
celebrated.
you that so I know that as a founder of Vibe Tribe, I would say this, but I'm genuinely saying this to people because I know how much money and I'm sure you've paid in learning about health. And each one of these experts, an individual session with them would cost somewhere between $150 to $400. And each one of them that they have their own programs ranges from $600 to $2,000, right? Their own
Yep.
dedicated programs, right? So the end in goal, I tell people, is you have to give up having coffee from outside maybe 5, 6 times, or having one nice meal that you used to have outside a month. But you're actually investing in knowledge that will help you, if not add life to your ears, add years to your life, at least add life to your ears. Because I love
Mm.
the fact that you said health span, and it's not about, a lot of people come and say, but we can die. Yes, you can do everything right and you can die. There is no one in this world that can guarantee how many years you're going to live, but it's adding life to your ears. So go, hike in your 60s, travel the world in your 70s, play with your grandkids in your 80s. It's not about having six-pack abs. It's not about looking your, snatch self. It's about feeling healthy and feeling that you are independent and strong and lively and mentally and physically well. And that only happens when you holistically take care of your body, your brain, and your bonds. So,
And if you're honest with yourself about it as well, because there's a lot of
Yeah.
people that walk around claiming everything is all good, and then they get in the confines of their home and they're depressed, and they have anxiety, and they have to try to mask everything by, uh, supplements or drugs or, foods, right?
Yeah.
Part of that, like, my dad was sort of battling with loneliness and depression by eating, right? And it's like, yes, of course, there's many other factors that go along with becoming morbidly obese, but at some point you have to kind of say to yourself, why am I doing this? Why am I continuing to allow myself to get there? And I'm not going to sit here and say that signing up to Vibe Tribe is going to heal everyone. However, it is a light at the end of the tunnel, and it's a guide, it's a path that you can go down if you so choose. And what is that worth to you? If you're in a situation where you're really down on life, it might be worth everything to invest in your health and wellness, you know? So I applaud you for doing the hard work, Ramza, like how you were the one, you know, holding that computer and going to sleep. I get it, you know, like I wrote this book, and it's called Awareness Shift. And this is one of the things that breaks down. The reason why I said I like pillars is because the tagline or the subtitle of this book is Unearth the 5 Pillars of Optimal Health and Wellness. So I'm big on pillars, right? And I created this with a former client of mine. She co-wrote it with me, and I wanted to offer this as a resource. 'Cause I was thinking like, yeah, so many people out there in the world ask me, Josh, how is it that you live the way you live? And what do you do? And I thought, let me just give this to people in the form of a book as a resource. And people are going to learn from this, and they're going to go off and be their healthier selves. And it was like crickets, you know? It's like, yeah, I got a few sales here and there, but
Oh, I
like,
know what that means.
right? It's like, you know, so it didn't really serve its purpose, because I think people, if people are honest with themselves, they don't want to take the book and then apply it. Those action steps you talked about, they want to go, oh, this resonates with me. Yeah, I want to try this. This is confirmation bias. Yeah, I think what he's saying is right. Therefore, I don't need to practice that because I'm already doing that. Right. So, okay, let's move on to the next book. And then you start to see people go, yeah, no, I read that book, but it didn't really do anything for me. Well, no, you didn't do anything for you.
This is so true.
That's so true.
So, yeah.
You know, one thing that I also tell people, like a lot of my clients that come to me as well, it's not that, okay, you sit today, you rewire your brain, everything's going to be fine tomorrow. It's the same thing. You eat a clean diet, you work out 6 days a week, you do your recovery. But until you deal with what's happening in your mind, your physical aspect would not be at its optimum. Your gut would still not be at its optimum. Similarly, until you eat well, take care of your body, work out, even as much as you're putting into your rewiring your brain, changing your beliefs, taking out all the trauma, taking out all the junk, your body, until you give it the nutrition and everything that it needs, you will not be at optimum. And until you have those relationships that you come with to your authentic self, that you are able to connect with people genuinely, it's a similar thing. You will, again, not be able to be at your optimum. And that is also why it's divided into body, brain, and bonds, because that is what you need in order to be more holistic.
I love it. Okay.
You know, Josh, that reason we laughed
yep.
is there's a meme I will send you, which was exactly this. It's a founder meme where nobody prepares you for the crickets after your big. So it's for all those people who put in all the nights and then they weren't prepared for that day, but slow and steady always wins the race.
Ooh. Well, I'll give you a really quick story then, since you just brought that up. So thank you for sharing that. That's funny. Talk about this for crickets. So Tessa Cash is my co-writer on this book. And so we spent all this time editing the book with we worked with this book publisher, and we did this crowdfunding campaign to help sort of fund the book process. And that was very new for me. Also, I basically my contribution of writing the book was all through voice notes. So bless Tessa, because she had to like transcribe loads of hours of voice notes. I'm just talking on the phone. She's getting it. And I'm sure she's just like, oh my God, he just sent me another like book of voice notes. But we go through all of this. the publishing company was there to kind of guide us into like, okay, this is what we've seen from other publishers on or from other authors and how and what's effective, right? So we took their lead. We went through all the different things. Well, we started to notice that it was feeling a little bit rushed because it was just for some reason it was just a bit rushed, and we were just like we couldn't really understand why, and we didn't get a chance to make some of the edits that we wanted to make, and so we ultimately we were kind of told like, look, here's the deadline. We got to meet the deadline if you want to get this out in a timely manner. Okay, sure. So we put it out. Well, that was like, I think it was, if I remember right, June 28th, 2022. And basically the next morning, literally the next morning, we get a message from the publishing company saying that they are going bankrupt.
No.
So that was, I think, the opposite of crickets. That was like deafening silence, right? Like, just like, well, what do we do? Like, what do we do with this information? And then it made us realize like, oh, and I'm going to show you something really quick. Here, notice the difference in these two books. Okay?
It's a different color.
Yeah, this one was the first edition with the white shift, and this one is the second edition. Also, notice the thickness
Thicker.
difference.
Yeah.
So the one with the yellow shift is the one that was worked on after. So Tessa and I, we decided, okay, we've learned a lot about the publishing process. We can legitimately say we are now published authors because we did get it published with a publishing company. But then we were faced with this opportunity to either work with a different publishing company or self-publish. So we met with a publishing company. They came back to us and said, yeah, I think they were mostly like a conservative publishing house. And we have some concepts in there that maybe go outside of that, right? With like astrology and psychedelics and things like that. So the conservative publishing company was like, yeah, this is not going to work for our group. We would suggest you guys go down the self-publishing route because you already have a book. Okay, so we decided to do that, and we made all the necessary edits. I mean, I'm talking, it was brutal. When you really look at the first one, it's just kind of brutal, but we had to kind of go out with it. And so we finally did the updated version, and it's much, much better. But again, I was thinking that like, yep, we got it edited. It's good to go. People are going to be like, buying these off the shelves. No. I mean, we have to do the work if we really want to get it out there, which is what you guys are doing right now. Like we're recording this. And if I can say, Rameza, like you broke your arm.
I broke my arm 2 weeks ago.
We were supposed to record, I think, 2 weeks ago or last week or whatever, and you broke your arm.
10 days ago, actually, yeah. 10 days. I broke my arm 11 days ago.
Yeah. And that was right around the time we were supposed to record. And it's like, okay, what message is the universe telling us with all of that? Right?
I was joking with Rameza, and I said, you wanted a holiday, you could just have asked for it. So for perspective, I obviously am building this with a full-time job. So there's a lot of reliance on Rameza. So I was like, you could have just asked for a holiday.
Right.
But I think when you said what the universe tells you, I think sometimes it genuinely is telling you take a pause. Because I do want to say that, when you said this, it's like sometimes we have all this knowledge, but best of us aren't, and I'm sure you'll relate to it, weren't able to practice it, and then I remind myself to just go back, and say, no, I know this and I need to do it this way, so let's go back. So in Rameza's case, I think it's clear from the universe, take a break.
I think and it was so traumatic because I required a surgery for it. So it's not like I got a plaster. I had to get a surgery done for it. But I think I would say something that it's a reminder that, yes, I need to pause or maybe slow down a little bit. But I would definitely say that it's just slowing down, not pausing, but slowing down and being just wiser. And I really actually like it because now I'm listening more to my body. It's like, okay, too much pressure, take a break. So I'm napping 2 days, twice a
Giving
day.
me a heart attack, but thanks.
But no, I think genuinely for me, I know that it's like about learning to pause, but I've realized it's more about listening to my body because I'm still working, I'm still going softer, but I'm still going, you know. But yeah.
That leads me to sort of the wrap up sort of questions. And I want to make sure that we've given you ample opportunity to talk about some of the things you had hoped to talk about today. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So here's something that I think when people meet me and if like they don't know me that well and they get the opportunity to kind of learn who I am, I'm one that loves to dive deep into my experiences with people, whether that be asking deep questions, profound questions, or whether that's just absolutely having fun and getting people out of their comfort zone. I love to sort of bring about like important questions, not surface level BS, right? Like I'm talking, I really want to get to know people. So with that, I hope you can indulge. What I would like to know is what are a couple things that, and both of you can answer this, what are a few things that you feel like you do correctly, that you do very well? And what are some things that you just absolutely have dropped the ball on and you need to work on?
In terms of health, you mean? Or
Anything that comes to mind, anything. Because at the end of the day, this is all about our holistic wellness, right? It's about everything. So if you identify something that you do well, great. That means that probably is high up on your list of how you identify yourself, right? Self-identification. But then the things that you feel like you don't do well, that's also just as important because those might be the things that you push aside that then maybe have more of an opportunity to really get you to thrive. So that's why I like to identify those things with anybody I talk with.
do you want to go first, Ramza? No, she always puts me first. Have you noticed? So I think one of the things I mean, anyone who knows me knows I do well. I never miss my workout. So, I mean, from today, since the morning till the evening, I was in calls like nonstop, but I did my workout with the call. Not that people on the call found that out, but I did. So I think I never miss a workout because I think it's like my mental drug. I think I don't know. I feel like to operate without a day that I have done whatever, and I do a mix of workouts. There are days of strength training, there's days of yoga and Pilates, etc. So I think that's one thing that I'm proud of myself, that touch what I've always been able to do since I think the last decade and a half. So I think that's one for me. The thing that I am not able to do well, and frankly, something that I've been feeling very hypocritical about lately, is if I tell anyone to do a full-time job and try to build this, even if it's a platform and bring it off the ground with hardly 2, 3 resources and limited funding, I would be lying if I say that I don't work 16 hours a day. Like I work from the minute I wake up till the minute I'm going to bed. There is no moment that I'm not. And then somehow I try to manage to meet my friends once a week and so, but I feel guilty because I know that I need to find a way to pause, I guess is the right word, but take care of my mental and physical health, right? But I also feel that I've never felt more alive in my life, right? And this is something that I only learned by experience. It doesn't matter that I work 16 hours if I don't feel the pressure for it. And it's the reason is you're doing something with purpose. And that's one of the programs we hope to find an expert for. So if you're watching and you can create it, please do. Because I learned something, which is when you do something with purpose, it makes you feel more alive and more healthier than anything else, so it's definitely not an excuse for not normalizing the number of hours and not normalizing that I do need to take care of my body and mind, but also to say that I did learn that, oh, I have this newfound capacity because of what I'm doing I love. So
Ooh. Okay. I'm gonna not say anything yet, but thank you for sharing that. That's a very vulnerable share, right? And I know sometimes it's harder to identify the things we don't do well. And what's interesting is like, and we'll see with Rameza what you come up with, but a lot of times I notice that it's typically difficult for people to identify the things they do well before they identify the things that they don't do well, right? And so you sort of flipped it on its head and you went straight for the things you do well and then talked about the things you don't do well. So I love that. Thank you for sharing. Ramazan, no pressure, but let's hear what you have to say.
Well, one of the things that I could say that I do really well and that I actually enjoy doing well is intermittent fasting, which I think after going to Dr. Ellie, he's given me a structure a couple of months ago, and I only started that a couple of months ago, I think back in January. And trust me, I think it made me feel like a different person. The first couple of times when I did it, the first 2 days, I think it was difficult. From 14 hours, you build to 16 to 18 to 24 hours as well. It's difficult initially, but the energy that you feel after that, your body feels good. Like my body, my mind, amazing. I could run at the speed of lightning, I think, at a certain point. One thing that I do struggle with the most is being consistent with my workout because, unlike my sister, I think she's taken all of the love for working out from me as well. Left nothing for me. But no, as much as she loves to work out, I think I resist it in a lot of ways. And so I also mix it. Like strength is something I don't enjoy particularly, but spin is something that I absolutely love to do. So I can do like a spin class 5 days a week if you give it to me. Strength workout and HIIT is something that it's challenging, but I do need that for my body as much as I've understood. So I think that is the most challenging thing. However, I have realized that it doesn't have to be a very strict system of this. Like there are days when I do, okay, today I'm doing strength training and my looking forward to doing spin the next day is something that I look forward to. It's something that okay, no, Tuesday, 8:30 a.m., I have this class for spin and I'm going to go no matter what. Because I've realized it's not about, I actually did change my own belief for this, that it's not about putting your body through something that, oh my God, I'm working out, it's going to be difficult. But it's truly something that I enjoy. Cycling, hiking, these are things I generally truly enjoy. So making it into a workout for myself in terms of spinning, it's something that I don't even look at it as a workout, but I look at it as something that I love to do. So that's, yeah.
Oh, okay. Again, thank you for sharing. And I would love to offer a bit of a challenge for both of you. And so this is something new that I'm doing with the show because I want this to be as beneficial for me and my audience to understand about what you guys are doing as it is for you guys to take something from this as well, something that we can check in on in the future. Again, this is all about building community, right? And so I would love to challenge everyone here to work on those strengths, but also really work on those weaknesses. And something that I find with you, Rasha, I think is interesting is with the fact that you've been so consistent, so good with your workouts. What would happen if you sort of became more efficient with making the workouts more of a community-based workout so that you can then also incorporate the friendships, the things that might also give you even more joy out of life, right? Because at the end of the day, we are people, like we are humans and we require physical touch. I mean, it doesn't have to always necessarily be like physically touching, but we need to be in, I mean,
No,
I think
it's true.
they say
Yeah.
one of the worst
Sense of
forms of
identity.
torture. Yeah, one of the worst forms of torture is self-isolation, right? And so whether we feel that we're isolated because we can justify it because we are so good at what we do in our work, sometimes we just need that little bit of a push to go, let me get out of my comfort zone and let's see what else is possible, you know? And so you might find a few other people out there who are just as gung-ho about working out, and now you've built a real community and you're a co-founder of a platform that is all about community, right?
That's true.
So I feel like that could be a good challenge. And then Rameza, you kind of touched on it with your response, but I would love to challenge you into reframing. Right? So I like to talk about frameworks, but if you could reframe what is exercise, then that's easy for you, right? Because I feel like we in today's world, we typically do the things that we like to do, but we focus on that. Like you said, you could spend 5 days a week and well, that's obviously one form of training. And I've always found it interesting, especially like back in the day, there was a huge buzz around SoulCycle and spinning classes and all that stuff. And I always noticed, I thought it was so fascinating, me being a gym owner and a fitness trainer. I always noticed, and I don't know why it is, but people who go to spin classes all the time typically aren't as happy about their body as they think they are. And this is what's interesting. Like if you go and you interview people like that go to spin classes all the time, they feel like because they're getting a sweat and they're working their muscles, that like this is the one thing that is going to help me. And it ends up not being the case, right? So why is that? I think it's because it's a lack of variety. And also we've got to do the things that, like you mentioned, strength training, HIIT, we need to kind of round it all out. And so I would challenge you to see if you can find something like rucking, like just throwing on a backpack and going for a walk, right? That's something you can do and not change anything throughout your day, except maybe you sweat a little bit more because I know it's hot in Dubai. I know it gets hot, right? But like I have my rucksack right here behind me, okay? And I haven't posted it yet, but yesterday I decided that, okay, how can I challenge myself to get a workout in? I was very busy throughout, being on the computer doing content. And I was like, well, wait a minute, I've got my backpack and I've got weights in it. There's a 25-pound plate and a 10-pound plate inside of it, right? And so that's 40 pounds. I don't know what that is in kilos, but half that at least, right?
Kilos, yeah.
Yeah. So I throw this on my backpack and I live in a building that has 17 floors. So I started from the basement, went all the way up the stairs with this heavy backpack on, came back down, crossed over to the other side, hit the other stairwell and came back down. And it took me 15 minutes. I was drenched in sweat and I felt every muscle throughout my body. So I'm getting strength workout, cardio workout, right? And also resilience because, it's like, and I'm recording myself to keep myself accountable. And I'm not saying that like, oh, I know all there is to know because I have weaknesses as well, right? Like I snack too much and I went the wrong direction and not going out to the point where I'm kind of a hermit. When I'm home, I'm home, and I do connect with people, but like I've challenged myself in the last couple of months since I got back to New York. I've challenged myself to get out a little bit more, to go out and go to the events, the rooftop events, the networking events. I used to cringe at that stuff, but now I'm challenging myself to get out a bit more. So I want this to be one of those moments where we all kind of check in a month or two down the line and we go, guess what? I've started doing blah, right? With a big smile on your face, right? Like this is what I hope.
So true. Thank you so much, Joshua. Really and that's the power of community, isn't it? That you talk to people who get you, at the same time, don't judge you for admitting
right.
that, listen, I try my best, but I fail too, right? And then you kind of like get pumped up and say, yes, we can do this together.
Funny story, every time I'm determined to be more consistent with my workout, unexpected work travel comes. Something or the else happened. Our trainer, the one physical trainer, he had an injury, so he had to take a couple of weeks off. Then I fell and it broke my arm. So it really is something, but I really love the idea of the stairs and the rucksack. I think I'm gonna try it for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And with that, I will say that is also one of those things that I hear a lot in sort of my community, is this notion of, well, I don't have a gym, I don't have a trainer, or my trainer is gone, right? And I've challenged my clients that I have a couple clients that I've been training with for 12 years, one I think for 15 years. And there are times when I say to them, listen, just because we scheduled to work out doesn't mean that that's the only time you work out, right? Like, find something that you enjoy. And then whenever we see each other, whether it's virtually or in person, I'm going to get you to do the things that you need to do. And then I want you to do the things that you want to do. And then that way we can build this holistic approach. So I think that is very interesting and kind of ironic that your trainer got hurt, you got hurt. What message is that? I don't know. Guess we'll find out.
No, I'm her sister. She really hates workout. She needs to reframe
Yeah.
them.
But I do love beach tennis, paddle, volleyball. So I do sports and stuff, but workout is a little yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe we'll talk. And who knows? Maybe we'll use that as a part of some content that goes on the platform, right?
That's true.
So yeah, we got some work to do. Okay. Any last bits of wisdom you'd like to share, or anything before we wrap up?
No, I think I just want to remind people that, if you take care of your body in your 30s and 40s, it will take care of you in your 50s and 60s and 70s. So, and sometimes we become, taking care of your body is not selfish, because I say this, and I say this always: when one person in the family falls sick, it's like the entire family falls sick. So just take a moment to pause that. And it's not that hard. You don't have to do everything. We all, collectively, we're founders of Health Platform. You train the best people, own a gym, and we all accept that none of us are perfect, but you need to try. And you try because you love the people around you, and you want to be independent, you want to be strong, and you want to be feeling good in your body and mind today and tomorrow till the day you die. So.
Mm.
And just to add to that, sorry.
No, I would just want to say one quick thing, because I don't want to forget this. I think it's okay to be selfish, right? Because selfish, especially when it contributes to the greater good, we're only as strong as our weakest link. And so if being selfish means in certain situations, being selfish is exactly what we need to do, right? However, if it deteriorates from the greater good, then that's when we don't want to be selfish. But I do thank you for sharing that, because it's very important to hear. Yeah. Rameza?
No, and just to add to it, I think people get onto the bandwagon of everything that is, latest, the diet, the workout, the system, the regime. I think it's very important, and my journey has taught me this. It's very important to know what works for your body, and what works for you may not work with somebody else. So just because somebody else is thriving, like, for example, Rasha and I are two different people in terms of how things work for us, what we eat, and the kind of workouts that we do. So it's very easy to look at someone and say, oh, they're doing this, it's working for them, I'm doing it, I'm a failure. It's not like that. Your body has a different requirement. You have a different requirement. And that's the thing. You need to hear your body, understand your body, go find out what it is that your body needs, experiment, see what works for you, and take it from there.
I love it. Yeah, this has been really fascinating, really fun. We're well over an hour, and I'm sure we could definitely go much longer. But I think to save the patience and the focus and attention of the viewer and the listener, I think we'll wrap this up. But I would love to make sure that people know how to get in touch with you. Obviously, we showed the screen for the website, which is Vibe Tribe with an E on the end, so it's two E's. Vibe Tribe E. vibetribe.com. And where else can people keep in touch and follow up?
I think on Instagram, it's also the
Instagram,
same Vibe Tribe _. So
Double E.
yeah, _. So you can follow us on Instagram. My account is simple, Thrive with Rasha, if that's what, and Ramza has her as well, the Evolved Brain.
Evolved Brain.
So we're here. Please feel free to reach out, any questions, any help. We're not just here to sell a platform. We're here to, help you with the movement, whatever it is that you kind of want to achieve. So feel free to reach out, and that's where you can find us in all of these different spaces.
Amazing. All right. Well, this is Josh with Simply Walk the Talk with Rasha and Rameza. Thank you so much for your time. Vibe Tribe, I am quite certain this is going to do well, and we're going to look back on this and go, see, it all started from here. So
Thank you.
to the viewers and the listeners, thank you for your time, your patience. And if you have any questions or concerns, hit me up, and also refer to anything in the show notes is where I'll keep everything updated on best ways to stay involved. And until next time.
Thank you
Peace.
so much, Joshua, for having us.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Walk the talk, talking facts. Move like me, but I move a little fast. Make my move, here to last. Fasten these seatbelts, I'm coming past. Take care of me, longevity. Hack my biology, better believe. Walking the talk, soul, mind, and body connected. Better come give us a listen. Better come give us a minute or two. Open the box up, we giving you tools. Giving your engine the fuel that it needs. Breathing into it, it's autoimmune. Make a connection, we're stronger in two. Making us one of a kind of a few. Work on the mind, but show me your moves. If you do what you say, you know what to do. Yeah.
Simply walk the talk.